Hi guys, welcome back to Linda's Pantry, and today I'm super excited. I'm going to bring you along for a delicious sandwich bread recipe. I don't believe that I've shown you this video before, so I thought, you know what, I need sandwich bread because I forgot to buy bread. And as I was standing in line, when I remembered, instead of, all my stuff was already on the conveyor belt, I thought, well, why would you even need to buy bread? You can make bread. It doesn't take that long. And it's fun, it's rewarding, and it's delicious. So this is really as simple as it gets. I do want to get a little whisk. I set my oven on proof. Well, it doesn't have a proof. It has, I put it on warm, and I've let it just cool down now. So it will stay plenty warm with the oven light on. And we're going to, I've got a cup of water that's about 110 degrees, which if you put your finger in it, it should feel like nice, warm, but not hot bath water that you would feel okay to put a baby in. Does that make sense? Okay. So I need a tablespoon of active yeast, and I keep my yeast, well, the blocks of it, I keep in the freezer. Once I open a block and I put it in jars, I keep it in the refrigerator. And I've never had yeast not be good. I'm going to add about a little over a half a tablespoon. It doesn't matter. You could do just a pinch of sugar. And let me bring you down so you can see what I'm doing, because that wasn't a very good view. I apologize for that. I'm going to take my whisk, get that all worked in, and we're going to let this come alive, and it's going to get foamy and frothy on the top, and we're going to be ready to start our bread. So let me bring you in closer and you can see that. You don't need to see. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, it's going to take 5 to 7 cups of flour. So I'm going to get it started. This is a half cup measurement here, I believe. Yeah. So let's get 3 in here at least. Yeah, make a mess. That's the best part of baking, is making the mess. That's 2 and 3. I like to just scoop it up and level it off. Okay, we'll start off with that. And get my hands washed up. So I like to get my sugar in there. That is a half a cup of sugar total. That's between what I put in here, and as you can see, it's very happy. Very happy. That yeast is eating that sugar, no problem. And I want to mix in my salt here. So I'm going to have a good tablespoon, and I'm using kosher salt, tablespoon of salt. And that, I think it's crucial to have a really good flavored bread, is if you have plenty of salt. And then I'm using Thrive's instant milk. This is such good milk. I mean, I really don't have to buy milk. I'm going to use 3 tablespoons Now, let me get my Danish whisk, just because I was going to do the bread by hand today, but I cut my finger cutting a tomato, and I thought, well, that won't work then. I'm going to have to do it in the stand mixer. And I definitely want one of the clear bowls, so it makes it nicer for you guys to see. So I've mixed that up, and good enough. You want to incorporate the sugar and the salt, and then you're ready to go. I also add an egg. This helps bind that bread together so it doesn't crumble on you. Make sure we don't have any shell in there. And there's a little bitty smudging. These eggs are from my neighbor. They're beautiful, fresh eggs. There we go. Let me wash my hand again. And you also, wow, look at the yeast. It's about doubled since we started talking again. That's crazy. Okay, so I've got a 1/4 cup of neutral oil, just a vegetable oil. You could use butter. You could use chicken fat, you could use tallow, you could use whatever kind of fat you would like, or you could add another egg and completely omit that. You could add Greek yogurt, but let's just keep this basic. We're just making a basic sandwich bread, and now I'm adding my yeast mixture, and oh, doesn't that look good? It's so happy. I don't want to miss any of it, but there's that. And let's get this out of the way here. And we'll pull down our mixer. You've got your dough hook on. Lock it into place, and I'm just going to get mixing. And I'm just stirring it right now. We'll let that all come together here. See if I can bring you in closer, so you can see what's going on in the bowl, just like me. I want it to get to kind of a shaggy dough stage, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, I think my next purchase is going to be one of the glass bowls that go with these stand mixers. They're nice, big, big bowls like this, but you can see better. I also will be using my Bosch mixer here pretty quick as well. I really have not utilized that as much as I should have. The new kitchen will have a baking area, and I will have it set up where I can just do all my bread kneading and baking over on that counter, and all my flour, sugar, all that stuff is going to be right there where I need it. So it's starting to come together. I'm glad I didn't put any more flour than I did, because it's really got to work at this. But we're going to let it go for a couple minutes. I'll bring you back when it's collected all the flour. Now you can see that it's collected all. It only took about a minute. And, well, about a half a cup to a quarter of a cup at a time, I want to add some flour. And I don't want to make a giant mess, so if at all possible. So I'm going to add that and start it back up and let it pick it up. And if you feel like you need to, sometimes this is a good idea. Lift up your dough hook and just let that dough fall back in the bowl. And we want kind of a sticky dough, but not too sticky either. Okay, so I've let it fall back in the bowl. Now I can lock that back into place and get it going. And it'll grab that flour. Once again, you don't want to add more than a few tablespoons at a time. And it will get less and less as we go. So, let me get sorry, I've got to wash my hands again. And we will keep progressing. Ooh, I'm excited. And the oven is nice and toasty, so this will go definitely into the proofing. You can see it's not picking up all of it just yet, but I think that's probably the last bit of flour that I will need to incorporate. And then I will put a little bit of oil on the inside of this bowl, cover it with plastic wrap, and in the oven it's going to go where it's going to proof for me. Oh yeah, that's perfect. So it has picked up, hopefully you can see that, it has picked up all of the dough. And now I'm going to let it knead for about, and on a 2, for about 5 minutes, honestly. And we'll be done. Okay, so as this is kneading, I am finding it's still a little bit too sticky. I added another half cup, and yes, that might be it. And it's picked it up, and it's kneaded for a good 5 minutes. So I'm not going to add any more. So really, this one was about 4.5 cups. It depends on the humidity. It depends on a lot of things. For your, I'm just going to put some oil down in on my or in my bowl, and that way the dough won't stick to. Let's take this off. Maybe. There we go. The dough won't stick to the bowl or impede its process of getting to rise. But look at this. It's a beautiful, smooth dough. And I believe when you push it, yes, it's going to bounce back. So it's got enough bounce. And then I'm just going to roll that around until it's got oil on all sides. I don't want it drying out in the oven. So there you go. Now I'm going to cover that. And one more wash will do. And that's one thing about being in a kitchen. You do wash your hands a lot. Okay. Go ahead and set that dough hook aside so it can get a wash down. And I'll take this, maybe. Take this, maybe. Okay, might have to have my husband come in and help me. Because I can't get the bowl. There we go. Got a trick to it. Okay. Some saran wrap. And we should be golden. Okay. It should take about an hour for the first proof. Typically it's about an hour. I want it to double in size. So, and there's no need to dirty another bowl. So this is what we've got right now. And I'll bring you back in about an hour after we've got it doubled in size. Okay, guys. So honestly, this took, and my oven just booped. It's up to temperature. I've got it at 375. This took hours, and I'm not exactly sure why. I've used this recipe for years, but this loaf took this long to get this lofty. I let it sit and sit and sit, and maybe it's the egg. I don't know. But then I brought it out. I kneaded it a little bit more and added a little more flour. And then I just said, okay, well, I'm going to put it in this greased glass bread baking pan, and we'll see what happens. And stuck it in the oven and just let it, the oven light. And two hours later, here we go. So I'm going to bake this off. We're going to see what kind of loaf we get. And, I'm not sure what happened. My yeast was totally active. You saw that. We'll go from here and we'll see how delicious this bread is. Mm-hmm. Okay, guys. So I'm missing a segment. I thought I had my camera on, but my second rise is, I shaped the dough and put it in here and let it sit in that proofing oven. And now here we go. Let's get this in the oven at 375 and we'll take it out. And once it cools, I'll show you the crumb and we can all enjoy it. I just wanted to let you know this thing has continued to rise now. Even though it took hours to get to this point. Look at that. That is amazing. So I guess my advice is don't ever give up. This loaf took forever to rise, but then when I put it in the oven, it's still screaming hot. I just took it out of that oven. When I put it in the oven, it went, yes, please. And you can see in the glass, it's browned all the way through. You can smell baked bread throughout the house. So it's ready. And I'm going to get it out of the bread pan and get it onto the wire rack so it can cool properly. But what a beautiful lofty loaf. Now, I can't tell you why it took as long as it did. It took way longer to rise than it usually does. And I'm not sure if it was the egg. I mean, it was plenty humid and warm in here. I didn't see any factors on that. Just took a while, but in the end, I have a beautiful loaf of bread that we're going to have sandwiches, and I'm going to cut that open as soon as it's cooled all the way. I never ever cut a loaf of bread open when it's warm unless we plan to eat the whole thing because it will dry it out. But oh, I'm excited. It smells so amazing. So let me get this out of there and we'll let it cool. I'll be back for a taste test. Yes, yes, I will. Okay, so this is the beautiful loaf out of the pan. And literally, I mean, this is great. That's going to be such a great sandwich bread. I'm excited. I'm gonna let this cool completely. I'm not gonna cut into it until I cool it, and then I'll bring you back for a taste test. And you can see how beautiful this loaf comes out, and we'll see how it holds up for sandwiches. All right. Okay, guys. I never do a taste test this far out or show you the end results this far out, but literally it has been nonstop. This loaf of bread, which had the weirdest rising time and all that, we cut into it. And this is like, we've eaten half the loaf already. It smells so buttery. I don't know if it's the milk and the egg, maybe. It smells like butter and bread. You know what I'm saying? And it is very good. We've been having it with sandwiches and toast, and it's easy to cut real thin. I wouldn't say it would be my go-to for a soft sandwich bread, like peanut butter and jelly worthy. I wouldn't say that. And it's not fair to judge the crumb at this point because it has been 3 days. But what I'm going to do with the rest of this, after I give you this taste test, I'm going to just cut a little piece, add some butter, and I'll tell you what I taste after. This is like day 3. But we just had grilled cheese sandwiches with this, and it was divine. I'm going to give you a recipe here pretty quick. So, I thought the egg addition would keep it from crumbling at all, but it really doesn't. It's got a salty, sweet profile. It's really good. Almost like a buttermilk bread, if you will. So it is very good. And it's holding up really well. I can tell you, this won't go to waste. We'll probably have another sandwich or 2 grilled, and then the rest of it will go for bread croutons that we'll use in stuffing or something like that. And will I make it again? Will I make it again? Maybe, but I'm going to say without the egg, because I really feel like the egg, because I put oil in there. If I do an egg, I'm not going to use the oil because the egg should have replaced the fat. So we'll just do it that way next time. Is it a good recipe? Yes, it is. The flavor is divine. Absolutely. But I'm really looking for that soft, squishy bread that we get at the grocery store, that you can go, okay, this is peanut butter and jelly worthy. And I do have a couple of recipes that I know are, and I'll bring them as soon as I can to you. All right. So Thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see you next time, maybe using the croutons that I make with this, because these are going to be good. This could make a beautiful bread pudding. Oh, maybe that's what I'll do. Would you like to see a bread pudding recipe different than the last one I made? Let me know down below. Oh my gosh, you guys, this bread is so good. I took some to work and everybody loved it, so I hope you try it.